Friends, hi. In days of coronavirus pandemic, we often hear the expression Kerala model. When the number of infected persons and fatalities, even in the developed countries, remains so high, how could one state in South India, with a population of 36 million, fight so successfully? How could it contain COVID-19 with such a small number of infected persons and fatalities? These are the questions on our minds. The success story of Kerala has invited global media attention. We from Vicharvedh are trying to understand the phenomena called Kerala model. Now, something about Vicharvedh. Vicharvedh means the quest or inquiry of thoughts. It is a collective platform launched by progressive-minded persons in the Indian state of Maharashtra. The core goal of Vicharvedh is to promote creative thinking and free expression of ideas. Vicharvedh conducts annual conferences on various social topics. Along with this, the major and consistent activity is running a YouTube channel where thought-provoking short films and lectures on various topics made by Vicharvedh are presented. In this video, we see Dr. Arun Gadre from Pune in Maharashtra speaking to Dr. Amar Fettle from Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. Dr. Arun Gadre is a gynecologist. He is a co-author of the book titled Dissenting Diagnosis. Dr. Gadre is also the founder member of Alliance of Doctors for Ethical Healthcare. Dr. Amar Fettle is a senior consultant pediatrician who is a state nodal officer in Kerala working on health emergencies of international concern for the last 9 years. He has been involved in tackling wider outbreaks of HIV, H1N1, bird flu, Nipah, as also the possible threats of Ebola, Zika, MERS-CoV in the state. It is no wonder that because of his team's success, along with a decade of experience in this area, we see him now in battle against COVID-19. He takes time from his busy schedule and talks about the unique Kerala way of tackling COVID-19. Let us listen to the conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Fettle, for taking out time in your so busy schedule to join us on Vicharvedh. I welcome you from viewers of Vicharvedh. It is a youth organization basically of intellectuals and secular people who want to know about things and about discussion on serious matters. There has been a lot of attraction in our group regarding the Kerala model because now it is in the flash after the COVID-19. So really it is a silver lining in the dark clouds of COVID-19 across India. For example, as I went through very shortly, on 30th January, WHO declared the COVID-19 outbreak as an international emergency. And on the 5th March, within a 1 month, Kerala was noticed by a BBC panel to be one of the one of the model which is tackling COVID-19 very well. That was on 5th March. And after 20 days, on 24th, India went into nationwide lockdown. And on 24th, if we go for the statistics, it was only 203 cases. Kerala was 203 and Maharashtra was 202 on 24th. And now on 9th May, when I checked, it was only 505. And such a beautiful containment. So I think you must be very proud to be a state nodal person of health emergency unit of international concern.
Yeah.
So I think we should. I really congratulate you. I'm really very happy to get connected with you. So here we go now, Dr. Fettle. I mean, I want to understand how it all began. I mean, which were just let us know about the initial days when this war began. Please go on.
Okay, Dr. Arun, it was very nice of you to welcome me so warmly. And to say that I'm proud, yeah, I'm happy that I'm part of a link. I don't actually lead the team or anything, as you imagine. The word state nodal officer is sometimes very decorative. It does not mean that I lead the team or anything, because my special areas of basically I'm a child specialist. I'm a pediatrician.
Yes.
I was the head of the pediatric division at one of the biggest general hospitals in the state, Trivandrum General Hospital. Then I came into NRHM service. For the last 10 years. I've been looking after public health emergencies of international concern. It started off when H1N1 came to the country and to the world. So at that time, I was one of the just 3 people who in Kerala who were trained by WHO.
Oh,
So
okay.
that and on that account, and before that, I was one of the first people dealing with HIV in Kerala from
Oh,
I think 80 something when HIV came to the state, that came to the country around that time or the world. So I was one of the first trained people in HIV. So much before H1N1,
okay.
I was part of the I was on the leading edge in leading the fight against HIV. So that way, this responsibility of being the nodal officer came automatically, and I was made the nodal officer for H1N1.
Right.
I knew absolutely nothing of administrative management. I was
Okay.
just a clinician, a pediatrician. I did not know anything. So I was asked to report to the Directorate of Health Services, and I was fortunate enough to have a series of great directors at different points of time, and also one single person named Dr. Jagadish. Dr.
Okay.
Jagadishan, he was at that time nodal office, deputy director, assistant director looking after small programs, but he was a administrative, what you call, very energizing, very, very wonderful colleague and guide and mentor. So he was the person who taught me administrative management.
Okay.
So with his guidance and blessings, I was able to go forward, make a team. The state mission director of NHM at that time, it was called NRHM,
Yes.
Mr. Dinesh Arora. Yes, he was the one person instrumental in giving us a control room. For the first time in the history of the state, we had a so he gave us a space to develop a control room.
Okay.
And the director of health services gave me a small team of health inspectors, 1 or 2 junior doctors, and all that. So we start off without any of this technology we are now using, just an ordinary, plain, simple, ordinary mobile phone, 1 or 2 land phones, and 2 junior health inspectors who were taken from field duty into my team,
Oh,
and 1 or 2 wonderful junior doctors who came,
yeah.
very, very young junior doctors. So that was the initial, the very first control room in the whole country or the state. So that was the H1N1 control room we formed in 2009.
Okay.
And that control room has been functional throughout this 11-year period. With
Oh,
we go into action mode during crisis, and then it goes into dormant mode. But that same control room, the people have changed. I have not changed, but all my teams have changed.
okay.
Juniors have changed several times, but I have been here. And during this 11-year period, we were able to form very wonderful teams at the district. So the concept of having a district nodal officer also came. And so for H1N1, we developed 14. Kerala has 14 districts. So we
Okay.
developed very, very wonderful district nodal officers. All young people with a keen interest in doing something out of track, away from the beaten path. So those people were my main energy. So my load was lessened because very great
Yes.
encouragement from the director and from the secretaries and from the minister on top, and below me wonderful team of people saying yes sir, what to do next. So that kind of energetic people were in the districts. So with that team we managed, and there was no such email was just the only way of communication other than phone. And we developed the first ever reporting format for this thing,
Okay.
for doing a state level public health activity. So we from that onwards, we NHM helped in all that computer business, because we were not computer experts. We did not know anything about using all these programs and all that. Except for writing an email, I knew nothing about computers.
Okay.
And so that way, but the NRHM technology people and the IT people in NRHM of that time, they also chipped in. And then the next big challenge was to get materials and drugs. So H1N1, we had this wonder drug oseltamivir, but it was not here. It was in Delhi only. So
Okay.
then small supplies of 100, 200, 300, and such small numbers of drug, and also very small numbers of testing material had to come from Delhi by flight. And then we had to
Okay.
distribute this to our 14 districts. Kerala is a long state. It looks like a
Oh,
Karela. It's familiar. So
yeah.
Kerala, some
Yeah.
people say Karela. It looks exactly like a Karela.
Yeah.
It's about 600 kilometers tip to tip.
Yes.
So our office is at the southernmost end, where the southernmost end we are in Trivandrum, from where we had to distribute this medicine right up to Kasargod, which is the northern end, about 600, 700 kilometers away from here.
Oh,
And we were doing this by our own vehicles and lorries and other things, or jeeps. When samples had to be brought, so initially we immediately developed a screening system at the airports. For the first time in the state, we developed a screening system at the airport. So we had collaboration with the International Airport Authority and the
but
local
but
airport people.
uh, but let me interrupt. I mean, we are very interested. At
Yeah.
what point you decided to start this war? I mean, enter into the field for COVID-19. Means at
COVID-19,
what time? Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
COVID-19, about January 17, 18 and all that, we were just looking at the net and we found that there is some virus hullabaloo going on in China. So when you hear China, Kerala, our concern is that there are so many medical students in China. So
Yeah.
we immediately sat down together in a public health division. The public
Okay.
division of public health is very vibrant and active. So we immediately got together, sat down, and decided that if something happens there, all these medical students are going to return.
But that means you were on alert, and when
We
you
were
were
on alert.
you
We were on
when
alert. We were on
yeah,
alert.
that
In
is
fact,
something
we
unique.
were
I
on,
mean,
exactly. We were on alert, and what we did was we immediately made our I told you about the control room for this purpose. So we
okay,
immediately through the control room system, we sent
okay,
an alert to all our 14 districts that
okay,
watch out, something is going to happen. We don't know what, but there is a mess is likely to
okay.
happen in the next couple of weeks. So we sent
Because
this alert,
that was on 17, 18
I think
January.
18, 19, somewhere around
Ah,
that time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
It was a very
WHO
very
WHO
non-serious
is
alert.
WHO is yet to declare it
Far before
declare
that,
on
far before
20th.
WHO, far before WHO declared.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
it was a
you
very
were far.
non-specific alert.
Yeah,
Watch out,
yeah.
look out, you put your surveillance on alert. Watch out for respiratory infections. Watch out for
Okay,
influenza-like illness. Watch out for clustering. Watch out for fever. So this was a
okay,
very vague report that direction that we sent to our 14 districts.
okay,
And we activated all those district surveillance officers to be on the alert. So that was the first thing.
okay. That was
I
the
think
first.
within 2 days we had the first alert from Government of India that serious things are going to happen. Uh,
Hmm.
so and the thing is, so then we started looking at all the national sites, WHO, CDC, all those things, and we started getting information pieces.
Correct.
And with those available resources, we made the country's first guideline for corona. We published the first comprehensive guideline for corona management on the 26th of January, Republic Day. It was published by Government of Kerala and released
Okay,
for
okay.
circulation
Hmm.
on that date. So that went out to all the districts and it was posted on, I think, the Principal Secretary of Health posted on national networks also.
Sorry for interruption, but WHO has a mantra: taste, 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 taste.
Yeah,
Did your guidelines
that,
were little
that mantra was,
different or innovative?
that mantra came far later. At that time, when this started, we got the alert. So immediately, parallel, we alerted the airport surveillance systems. The
Okay,
4 airports, we have airport health officers. So they were all in link with us, and one seaport health officer, the port health officer. So we talked to these 5 people. They were all old friends, so we were able to put them also on alert. And meantime, they said that they also had received some alert from Government of India, and
ah,
so we immediately planned a system of screening, surveillance, transport, secure transport to hospital, and we
okay,
also immediately activated our 4 airport district isolation centers. We
okay,
have 14 districts, but 4 airports. So
well,
we activated the isolation centers in the airport districts very, very early. So we put them on full alert, asked them to get PP kit, everything ready, and watch out for patients coming in from the flights.
Okay.
So the airport system went into action straight away, and we made inspections at the airports to streamline the system, plug loopholes. We conducted so many what you call fine-tuning meetings with the airport team. For the ship-bound traffic, sea-bound traffic, port health officer also, we visited and made arrangements with them to screen if necessary. And then after this time, then WHO warning and public health, PHEIC warning and all that came. And there was steady stream of information from the government of India. In the meantime, after the first advisory or the guideline notification, then we started immediately a control room was formed at the state. This original control room, this time it was diversified into a huge business with so many other team members and
Okay.
18 separate subdivisions.
Okay. Okay.
These divisions would specifically look at areas like procurement, surveillance, lab testing systems, documentation, training, media management, social media rumor monitoring,
Okay.
then infrastructure development, human resource development and recruitments, then public media management,
Okay.
IT creation, all this. So 18 divisions, and ambulance one entire division for ambulance transportation itself exclusively. So likewise 18 divisions, and we formed this multi-divisional control room at the state, and we directed the districts also have similar committee there to look after individual items and correlate. So this is the start of activities, and then the next thing our principal secretary of health, he belongs to your area, Dr. Rajan Kobragade.
Yeah.
He was very, very energetic, and our Minister of Health and Family Welfare, KK Shailaja teacher, was such a wonderful leader that every day she used to come and sit with the control room team, not in her office. He would come to our office and sit here inside this office with the control room team for hours on end. Secretary and she would be here with us on equal footing, just like that. And every detail was monitored, every single comma and full stop was checked and verified by her also, the minister also. That means that any issue, instead of we having to report to the government and get a clarification, now government is sitting inside the room with us. As minister and secretary inside the room means virtually government is sitting with us.
Yeah, definitely.
So that made a big difference. That kind of incredible leadership by the minister. And also the minister then she put individual ministers in charge of each district. So there are ministers who are in charge of each district to give maximum trust. And they also made the collectors in charge of correlation activities inside the district, because they have administrative control which goes out of the health department. So that way the collectors were put in charge there. Then what we did was there was a academic committee also was there, and that committee and the secretary and all of us, we sat together at different times and started imagining scenarios. So scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario B, scenario C, scenario D. So all kinds of imaginary horrible scenarios were imagined.
Yes.
And we made guidelines and advisories to deal with each problematic scenario, so that whatever happened, we would have a guideline for that. So we started, and every this thing was written by community medicine people also were here with us, and we wrote up the scenarios and the instructions for each scenario, and these were vetted by the principal secretary of health, Dr. Rajan Kobragade, and finally published on government authority, so that nobody would have any ambiguity. It was released as government publication.
It's a wonderful preparation and administration, academic input. So I mean, it was like a military operation in a way. It's like military, full-fledged military operation. And so it's a very well synchronized thing. But then can you tell us about some personal experiences from field in the initial stages? I mean, we were facing, or everybody is facing in India, because I read that at one point you quarantined 1.4 lakh people, 1,40,000 people quarantined. So the whole, see, this is what you are talking very beautifully about the preparation at your end, at government end, at department end. But ultimately, there is a mix. There is a junction between the community and the government. Unless that starts synchronizing.
Yeah.
So how did you do it? I mean, how the people supported you? How the
Now,
resistance was there or not there? I mean, we are very curious to know about it.
I remember the date January 30th. January
Okay.
30th, I was in Trichur district of Kerala. So
Uh,
I had gone there for purely personal purpose. I had requested permission from the minister and went there because my daughter had gone into labor at Trichur.
oh,
So
oh,
it was her first baby, so I had rushed for that. And
okay.
by the time I reached Trichur, I got the information on my phone that the first person with fever in Trichur has tested positive. And
Oh,
it was a student from China, based
oh,
in Trichur. So then the entire team went there, they convinced that family, talked to them so much because such a lot of scare was there. Being the first person in India with corona, you can imagine the kind of scare and shock. So
oh,
the entire team at Thrissur District Health Office, led by a wonderful DMO called Dr. Reena. Uh, Again, wonderful person, Dr. Reena, DMO of Thrissur District. Their team talked with this girl and the family for so much time, convinced her, and finally transported her into the isolation. She was already in isolation because of the fever, quarantine, and all that. Then they transported her to the medical college hospital ward, and then the minister here and all the other teams. I think 4 ministers from Trivandrum rushed to the same. By midnight they reached there. I
okay,
could not participate in the first meeting because my daughter was having cesarean section at that day. So
okay.
I was there in the hospital with her.
Oh, yeah.
But from next morning, I also joined the team back at the collectorate at Trichy. And then from that time, I was with the team. And so then from Trichy, so much of national panic was there. So this team of 4 ministers with the health minister and leadership and the characters and other people, and we were end-to-end meetings starting from that midnight onwards till next evening, the 5 o'clock there were meetings in the
Oh,
Thrissur collectorate. And we went over the whole scenario, described everything to the press, the media, the doctors, everybody. We explained what is going to happen, what we are going to do, what we need from them. And all the press, we called press conference, we explained to all of them. And I've been doing this for so much time that principal secretary and minister told me to specifically handle the press on my own as a single spokesman. Instead of having multiple people talking, even minister would ask me to speak to the press when the press called. So I was
okay.
giving standardized single point information to all the, and my phones were, I was using 2 phones all the time so that no single call from a media person would go unanswered. So we
Oh,
provided 24-hour access, attended all the live video shows and channel programs, TV channel programs to reassure the public and say what we are doing. So we explained, we were very, very transparent. So that is very important. And because of
ah,
the transparency, the public was able to respond. And
okay.
for the public to respond, we made another wonderful system which
Okay.
was pre-existing, but we tuned it up. That was called DISHA,
Ah,
DISHA. It's
ah,
a helpline, DISHA, Disha means
direction.
direction. Yeah. So this
Ah,
Disha helpline 1056 had
okay.
been there for the last 7 years.
Okay.
It was used extensively during Nipah and also during the floods. And now we immediately activated the entire Disha system and increased their capacity, computer capacity, and all that, and gave this number to everybody, the media, the public,
Okay.
everyone has this number. So they then flood of calls started, and now I think 1 week back, that number of calls handled by Disha has crossed 1 lakh.
Oh, oh,
So every call, what happens from Disha is that the calls from the public, the call center gives some basic information and then connects the line to one of the experts. So we had huge panel of volunteers to talk to the public, among the
oh,
doctors, among the
okay.
doctors, among the doctors. So then the public were actually connected to doctors live
Oh,
who would explain. And these doctors were all
yes.
trained in corona management. So they
Okay.
were able to explain to the public what exactly. And that
But
confidence was created. And then
lot of training must have been required at
huge
every
amount.
level, from ASHA to doctors to nurses. So how
Yeah.
could you manage this training in such a short period?
Total number of people trained was 8.5 lakh, I think. 8.5 lakh
Are,
people were trained during that short
are
period.
baapre.
That was done through the video conferencing, basically.
Okay.
because immediately we started, here's the importance of avoiding crowding. So we started the social
Right.
distance business
Right.
far before all the others started. So we
Right.
stopped all kinds of physical training, training at single location, and instituted this video conference business at that time. And through different video conferences to different sections of people, to the press people, to the doctors, to the nurses, nursing assistants, then to the public, social, other departments, everybody, all the policemen in the state, everybody was trained through this, and total number of training is 8.5 or 9.5 lakhs, I remember. That was done in a short period of 2-3 weeks. And we also made a complete site for YouTube. Everything we documented on YouTube, on video,
Yes.
and then uploaded to YouTube channel. We made our own health department YouTube channel. So every training, for example, like PP kit and all that, it was there on YouTube, accessible to everybody.
Yes.
So that means that somebody has missed, they can again see it any number of times and get perfect. So there was one division with one Dr. Divya who was interested with making all these things into video and PowerPoints.
Okay.
Every advisory was converted into a PowerPoint and into a video. And we all went and talked on those videos and recorded the thing with our own Government of Kerala Center for Development of Telematics and Information Technology.
Was there any resistance from the people to go into quarantine? I mean,
Yes,
how could you deal with this?
There was resistance because the first crowd of people who came are all people from China.
Yeah.
They were all young medical students. They came here, and some of them were very, very violent. A lot of them tried to break quarantine. They even went on journeys on bikes and all that. Then we started using local surveillance groups and other people to spot them. And in the meantime, after the China episode, then Iran and Italy started coming in. Initially it was China, then Singapore, then the peak shifted to Iran and Italy. And at that time, even people at the airports also disregarded instructions, went away from the airport without taking the guidance. And then they spread the disease to so many people. And there was scare in the district. So because of that, what we did was we converted our what you call this contact tracing was perfected by using something called route maps. I think that also developed first time in Kerala in the whole country. Route maps was the interview was converted into a pictorial. The interview with the contact that positive person was converted into a pictorial graphic kind of map, where each point, time, and place. So it is a time, place, and date is combined into a small square. So many squares linked by arrows. So those could form the exact path of backward journey from the point of positive result backwards for the time of arrival into Kerala. So this entire period was covered in this route map with so many squares. Just like you can see in a picture behind me, there are squares, and these would all be linked by arrows. So and this was published on the social media and local newspapers and on TV. So what was the benefit is that the people, instead of getting totally scared, so for example, entire people in one district, instead of being scared because cases in, for example, Kottayam district, then the entire public of Kottayam would naturally be scared. But once this map is there, this person is saying that I was at point A from 10 a.m. to 10:15. Then at 10:15, I got into an auto rickshaw and went to point B to buy bread. Then I bought bread, stood in that bakery, had an ice cream, then went to point C. So this map was there. Then only those people whose timing was matching, only they need to be concerned instead of whole public.
Right.
So care value was brought down by the route map. Otherwise, the whole public would go into panic. Instead of having 1 million people on panic mode, we only had some 1,000 people on panic because the route was there. So they immediately said, then we could handle this 1,000 calls. Instead of 1 million panic calls, we would need to handle only 100 or 200 calls from the exact people who were in that locality at that time and that date. So that means our handling of the contacts was much better. So we were able to.
This was,
we were able to put all those people on home isolation.
Right. This was in the rural area, right?
Everywhere, rural and urban.
Everywhere. Okay. Was there any difference between the reaction and cooperation between, and I mean, ease of doing things in rural and urban?
Definitely.
Because what the difference was and how did you tackle it?
Yeah. One thing is that in Kerala, there is no rural and urban really. Kerala is one big town.
Yeah.
A city town. The entire state
Yes.
is one city town. There is no real rural as you see in other states.
Yes.
Because our so-called rural areas are highly urbanized also in the behavior and approach.
Yes. Yes.
So, but even then, in the so-called rural areas, the response was much better.
Okay.
Because the entire credit goes to the field staff.
Okay.
Field public health staff called junior public health nurse, junior health inspector, public health nurse, lady health supervisor. So there's two chains, ladies and men and women, the public health nurses of the child health stream and the public health inspectors of the public health team. These are the people with grassroots level contact with the public. So they played a very wonderful role in doing the contact tracing and following up the people under quarantine. And there the people had personal rapport with this, the public also has rapport with these people. In the city, nobody has any face. Nobody knows anybody. So in Pakka urban areas, there is no relation between the field staff and there is no field staff for one thing. And nobody cares for anybody from the health department. And people are very, very, what we call, just like urban areas, there is a sort of indifference and aggression.
Yes.
So that was there, but still we were able to manage that. Then we also employed then from that time onwards, police became more and more in link with us. And right now, the entire police team is with us in ensuring that lockdown business and all that.
Are there big slums in Kerala like we have in Mumbai? Big slums?
Not on the scale of Dharavi, but only we have, there are, I think, Ernakulam district has maximum number of guest workers. We call them guest workers, not
migrant.
We use the term guest workers. They are our guests. We do not use the term other state or aliens or anything. They are our guests. So they have come for employment, which is much more profitable in Kerala than their own home state. So there are these guest worker colonies and employment camps and all that. So we contacted all those people. We immediately converted all our IEC into 5 or 6 languages, including Korea, Bengali, Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, and all those. So we had this IEC in spoken and written IEC, and we got experts from all these languages. And they also then did the communication business with the, and we used the media called TikTok and Hello and all these workers, all young people. So they look at all these things 24/7. They look at this for entertainment. So we approach them through those media inside the social media. So that way we were able to get their cooperation. We ensured that they would receive food and help and employment, lost wages and all that. Also, before the government of India thought of that lockdown word, we had imposed our own curfew in Kerala. So that our own Kerala curfew came, I think, 2 days before national thing was announced.
Right.
So the first time in the state, we had this total curfew on Monday. And 2 days after that, the national lockdown was declared. And by that time, this national lockdown came, we instituted this social services. So food for people who are alone. All the households were what you call mapped, and all the houses where people living alone, elderly people, nobody to help. Such houses were all mapped and linked up with the social security schemes and all that, and with the panchayat department. And food was delivered. Ration products were delivered. Home delivery of provisions was made. Everything was done by government, so that nobody would have to go out. And we also put strict controls by the police on vehicle movement, person movement, all that, with punishable clauses also. And Public Health Act was invoked.
And and did you use some technology innovatively? I mean, all this communication, TikTok and all that you did. But is there any innovative use of technology to trace and to...
Definitely. Contact tracing, there were some people, for example, one family from Italy came and made so much of mess in the state. They were not revealing their information. And we asked them also. So then we had to, for those group of people, that people and some other families, they were very, very reluctant to reveal details. And they gave false details also.
Okay.
Some people gave purposely false details.
Okay.
So then what we did was we matched the detail that they gave verbally with phone record from the cyber cell. We got the police to involve the cyber cell. So
Okay.
we traced that with their phone location. And then we found that what they are saying is false. So we confronted the saying, you are saying that you are at point B, but your telephone was at point C. Then how come?
Okay.
So then they realized that they can't play the fool. So they started becoming more. And then we also, still people were misleading. Then we used the, what we call the closed circuit television net footage from several CCTV cameras in the area
Okay.
to confirm or rule out.
Okay.
Suppose the person said, I was at this bus stop, the CCTV camera showing he is not there.
Okay.
Then we raised that he is not there. So that also we triangulated.
And what about quarantine, institutional quarantine? How did you make the
very recent.
arrangement?
Right from that time after this lockdown was declared, and we made this break the chain, mask use, hand wash, and social distance, and no travel. So that went on. Then travel now started. So we knew that at certain point of time, the airports were shut on 22nd March. But we knew that within a certain amount of time, 3, 4, 6, 7, or 8 weeks, Government of India would start services, and people would need to come back. So from that time onwards, that infrastructure division which I mentioned, they and the teams with PWD, Public Works Department, and Panchayat, they went and requisitioned all the hostels and big buildings, shut down college hostel, professional college hostel, school buildings, everything. And also hotel association and all that. So we requested empty hotel, empty hospital, empty school, empty hostel, everything. And we made a calculation of how many beds are available. And so with that confidence, we said we are okay. If government of India release also, we are okay. So Chief Minister expressed that we are okay to deal with the influx. Then the control flights have started. The first flight to India came to Cochin, actually, to Kerala. The very first flight was Air India flight to Kerala.
Okay.
And now every state has one arrival point. But Kerala, we have 4 arrival points. There are flights to 4 airports in Kerala.
Right.
So, and all the flights are full from the Gulf area. So we made arrivals at the airports to do the screening. Enhanced screening was done there. Hospital transfer, then institutional quarantine. So we have, every state has this 3 level of hospital: Corona Care Center, First Line Treatment Center, and dedicated big tertiary care center. So all the Corona Care Centers were activated with the cooperation of volunteers, Panchayat Department, PWD Department, and all the other departments, food security, social welfare, social justice, everybody. And so these places were made ready. And anybody with symptoms at arrival, they would be transferred to Corona Care Center. Then anybody with any no symptoms, then they would be screened. And now, because of social commitment, we initially exempted the pregnant women and children very elderly. But now people without symptoms, they are now put in home quarantine. Because initially, after going to institutional quarantine, some people felt disappointed that they did not expect. They expected much more comfort. That is impossible during a crisis.
Yes.
But still, we have given maximum comfort. In fact, in our hospital and all that, we have even provided free Wi-Fi. Every hospital, we are providing free Wi-Fi for the patients and their relatives. So the patients, so that they are thoroughly occupied in that one. We also have a total 24-hour telephone psychological support system through Disha. Where anybody who is feeling stressed out in the state, they can call Disha, and then Disha will connect them live to an army of 2,000 counselors.
What? 2,000?
2,000 plus, it is increasing in number. So they will handle this flow of psychological support calls and talk for any amount of time. And Disha system line capacity was expanded to a huge number of line handling capacity, so that all these, the phone would not remain engaged, other lines would open up. So that way, that is how we touch the 1 lakh mark so easily, 1 lakh phone calls for Disha. And then the psychological support team would talk and relieve the stress and all that. And every comfort was provided in the hospitals. In the Corona Care Center and isolation quarantine, it's much more basic. So then some people said our home is better, so we made complete advisory for home quarantine. Earlier was there, but now we refined it to say that you have to say common single bathroom, single care, everything has to be perfect. Only one attender, move out all the people from your family, reverse quarantine. All your relatives and others should go into next household or relative house somewhere. Leave only one person in the house. and that should be done before arrival, not after arrival. And all this is verified only then the permission will be given to come. And then then local team would go and monitor. Local team is Jana Maitri Police. There's a Jana Maitri Police, which is friendly police service.
Yeah.
Asha worker or a local health volunteer. Then public from the
public. Let me interrupt you because you are talking about volunteers. You want to understand what these volunteers were, from where they came, how you recruited.
Much big, our preparation was the big thing, because earlier onwards from the public, every monsoon and all that, Kerala has a big crisis with leptospirosis.
Right.
And monsoon problems are very severe. Monsoon related dengue spike, leptospirosis spike, H1N1 spike. So what we have is last 2 years, 3 years, Public Health Division has made a program called Arogya Jagrata.
Yeah.
And in that Arogya Jagrata program, at the ground level, there is an Arogya Sena worker. Arogya Sena.
Yeah.
Arogya Sena is the public force.
Okay.
So every local small ward area, panchayat area, block area, they all have their own team of willing public volunteers who will work in tandem with the Asha worker, health inspector, and other teams. So they had a long tradition of now health work.
Okay.
So they all become instant volunteer.
Yeah.
And then we also invited applications on our website for volunteers. I think 48,000 people enrolled immediately to be volunteers, because in the last flood season, we saw the benefit of volunteers doing work. So all those volunteers immediately enrolled again. So then from this, we could distribute to all the areas. So any house, team of 3 people would keep them under surveillance.
Right. So it's a wonderful social capital.
Yeah, we also have the neighbors, because usually any area when a corona is detected, the neighbors go into aggressive mode. Here we address the neighbors on TV and all that, said that when there is a corona patient, it is your duty to support them. You should go to their house and say, "Arey Baba, you are there with corona, don't worry mat karo, hum aapke saath hai, no problem. हम तो provisions ले गए आपके लिए, हम तो आपके grandparents, parents सबका care हम करेंगे, आप तो एक ही रहे ना, आइसोलेशन में रहना है, हम तो बाकी सब काम हम करेगा आपके लिए, एंड हम तो आपके कॉम्पाउंड वर्ल्ड के साथ आएगा, we will talk with you, you can talk with us, we are with you all the time." So we made the neighbors give this message and become the team member. So that way a lot of neighbors are supportive. So
it will be very wonderful. Wonderful on the field, because the person who gets isolated feels very isolated, depressed.
Now this was made possible because all this sort of communication to the public was made possible because of our press and media. And we would go and address the public through these television channels and the media and the papers. So all the papers write only what we give them. And instead of giving statistics, they give more of educational material, most of the papers. So little they give, and I have talked to all of them personally myself. I am the person dealing with them. So they know that they can call me 24 hours. So they give us that cooperation also. So they publish only what I tell them. They say, give more importance to such educational stuff. And all the TV channels, including Doordarshan and all the private channels, I go personally to every channel and talk to the media, talk to the public through this media. So then everybody watches this prime time. Now everybody is sitting at home. So they're watching TV. So we have the opportunity of addressing what the minister, what the chief minister says. I am able to convey to the media, to the public through these channels. And also another thing is that the chief minister and himself, or health minister herself, every day dedicated 1 hour program in the evening to the public of Kerala. Every single day the chief minister talks for 1 hour at least to the public. Every single day. So that means it is in such a reassuring manner that now it has more rating than primetime TV or Ramayana or whatever. It is just one everybody's favorite. Kerala chief minister talking means everybody stops whatever work, and the entire department, entire population watches it. And
even if I was knowing Malayalam, I would have definitely attended it. So it's a wonderful thing. I mean, it was really a thrilling. I mean, it was a, what we can say, unimagined journey today with Kerala and with you. But now let me ask the last question. I mean, now since everybody in India is apprehensive that what will happen after we come out of lockdown. I mean, whether there will be any surge, how to live with corona. So can you just give some words of wisdom to the English learning, those who understand English across India, how to go about it? I mean, they will have to face by themselves.
I am neither an expert nor the words I am talking are not wisdom or anything. Only little common sense
But you,
in
yeah,
ordinary
but
language.
common
Common,
sense is not that common,
yeah,
and not like Kerala. You have wisdom from ground of so many years of handling these episodes. So please give us some wisdom,
So,
words of wisdom, caution, whatever. I mean, whatever advice you do have for us.
so little things. First is never underestimate the virus. The virus will not go. A lot of
Oh,
people think the virus will go after such and such date. After May 17th, the virus will go somewhere else. It will not go. That the people have to understand. It's still sitting there. So second thing is the public has to imagine when you go to your gate and look at the road ahead of you and look at your market area. When you go to the street, imagine a scene in front of you where you see that little pink and green viruses are floating all over the place. You have to see that, visualize that in your mind. The virus is sitting on the car surface, they're sitting on every surface, sitting in the shop, sitting everywhere. You have to see this virus in your mind. And then keeping that picture in your mind, obey the instruction of having a mask first thing, because you don't want this virus, and realize that the virus will not come to your house on itself. You have to go and bring it. So then avoiding this hospitality, what you do is first put a mask so that suppose you have it, it won't go out from you.
Yes.
And always use ordinary mask. Don't go for the costly surgical mask. Don't go for unnecessary N95. Don't waste your money. Make this kind of cloth mask. This is all home stitched mask. How millions are being made in Kerala by a lot of
You yourself wear this mask.
we also, because we are not hospital staff. The surgical mask and N95 is reserved for hospital staff.
Yes.
Because they need that to protect them. They need surgical mask, they need 3-layer mask, they need N95. So that is reserved for those people dealing with the actual patient. For the public, produce your own mask. Because using a handkerchief is very alien thing. We don't use that habit. So this thing is like a hands-free handkerchief. It is there. Hands-free handkerchief. So like that, use this all the time, number one. Number two, every time you leave the house and come back, the tradition of washing your hands with soap and water. Sanitizer is okay, but costly. So we keep on saying now soap and water all the time. So when you go out, when you go into a shop, before going into the shop, you wash, and then when you come out, also wash or sanitize. Going into a bank when lockdown is over, again do this. So each time going into some place and coming out, do it again and again. Do it till you are bored. So washing the hands till it is totally boring, keep on doing it. So that is second thing. Also, when coming home after work and all that, change and shower and all that, only then have contact with people. Wash your feet also, just like old Indian culture, we wash our feet. Remove our slippers and wash our feet. Now young people today, no washing the feet, no removing shoes. They come and put the shoes on top of dining table. That is the way that young people today. That has to change. So wash your feet properly and all that, and come in. So mask, this one, and then the third thing is social distance. Try to maintain. You remind each other that it is important. Suppose somebody else is crowding, don't think it is their business. It is my business also. So we have to raise our voice and say very pleasantly, very friendly manner. But see, we have so even in a shop there's a crowd. Ask people to stay in line, enter only few at a time. Such things we have to remind others also. So it is everybody's duty, not duty of the government. It is our own duty. So that is third thing. Fourth thing is that always remember the virus will not go anywhere, so we have to take care all the time. Fifth thing is the people most vulnerable are the elderly people. So be very careful when you have dealings with elderly people and people with diabetes, heart disease, BP and all that. So that is reverse quarantine, protect them. Sixth thing is to teach our children the manners of using cough hygiene, kerchief use, not spitting in public. Now, Kerala spitting is bit less, but northern India, the more north you go, Delhi and all that, so much of spitting is going on, even inside the building, inside a staircase, people keep on spitting. So that has to be totally blocked. So that is very important. We have to change our culture. One cannot do it again. So these things. Then the next thing is to follow the rules. Always remember, the experts are the doctors and scientists, not the general public. So that just follow what the doctors and the scientists are telling you. That is the sixth or seventh or eighth thing. I'm not numbering. So this is very important because now what is happening? People listen to every rubbish other than the doctors. Lot of thing comes on social media. So this next rule I am following this is do not listen to social media too much, and don't believe every rubbish that comes on social media. So you should have a system to cross verify, which is our Disha system does that also. We cross anything can be cross verified through Disha. An expert will talk and you can show that message what you got, and we will tell the false message or true message. So never believe and never forward anything, however pseudo scientific it is. Talk to the doctors and talk to the scientists, believe them. Then then obey the directions of your leadership, your ministers, your government, whoever it is. They will be doing certain things now. Now from this day to day, you do this. That everyone has to do it, and it is somebody doesn't do it, then that the whole system will collapse because of one person who is disobeying. So even one or two people disobeying can break down the security of 1,000 people. So that one has to raise. That is the importance of getting everybody into line, into obeying. Because we have to say that if just two people don't obey, 2,000 people security can be compromised or lost. So then we have to become a bit aggressive also. Some people are not obeying. First be very friendly. Then you can change your tone. And then finally don't take the thing. Very important thing is never take the law into one's own hands.
Yes.
Report to somebody, let the lawmaking people do it, let the police do it, but don't beat up people. Now we see that beating up people for not obeying by the public, that should not happen. Next thing is treat the doctors and nurses and the hospital staff and the field staff with respect. We are seeing all over India that people are beating up doctors and medical staff, and that makes people very defensive. They have not slept. No, doctors have not slept from doctors and medical team have not slept from January 22nd onwards. So don't beat them up for helping saving lives. Next thing is to have what you call do not isolate them, because when they come back after quarantine and 2-week duty and all that, some people are not getting on going to homes and all that. So that should not be done. They should be honored for the service they are doing. Also, one person to be respected in this time is to respect the police people who are enforcing the security for the public. They also have to be respected and honored. So that is important. Then important thing is to what for the public, I think this is it. And then maintain your general health, because whatever virus, this has no specific cure. But even WHO has said that what we call our own strength is our weapon against the virus. So because 90% of corona is mild, if you want to make sure that your attack is mild, then take care of your own health. Lot of chawal ka pani, garam chawal ka pani, hot kanji water, rice water, thick hot rice water with salt and some lime juice, something like that to make it tasty. Add some vitamin C for that by the lime juice, and add some salt for the salty taste and all that. So keep on taking, it's a good thing for general health. Second thing is keep on eating food all the time, small quantity, healthy food all the time. Keep your energy reserve. Then do some saline gargling, steam inhalation, all that very good. Then local things which people use like tulsi leaf or haldi or whatever, let them take that, no problem. Ginger, adrak, everything is okay, no problem. It is not a cure. People have to realize that doing all these things does not mean you can take some adrak and ginger and what you call pepper, kali mirchi, and then don't use a mask. That is totally different. This is totally different.
Yeah.
And suppose you are using a mask, you still have to wash your hands. All the activities are linked together. So the other is supportive care to empower your general health. Then always what you call steam inhalation, all that stuff I said with tulsi and all that. Then eat certain fruits which are fruits and vegetables contain a lot of vitamins. So whatever local vegetables, fruits like especially papaya, then what you call amla, these are things which contains a lot of antioxidant, vitamin C and all that. So keep on consuming locally available fresh fruits, leafy vegetables, all those things. Good for the system, good for general health. And very important part is suppose some small illness, do not run about and go to a hospital directly. Any small illness, immediately make a phone call to your helpline center or your local health people, discuss and only then move out. And when going, definitely mask and all that should be there. And do not use, now public transport is not there, but don't go without warning to a hospital and wander around the whole place. And also ensure enough sleep. That is very important to keep your energy level. Ensure enough sleep and ensure your peace of mind. Do not read all the corona report. Do not watch TV and keep count of in Uganda how many people died, then Russia how many people back living, then how many people struggling in the other ICU unit in America. Don't read all this rubbish. It is not useful for the public. The public does not need any statistics. 37,000 people or 38,000 people, no difference how many people died in Russia or America. Here only look at what I have to do, what my family has to do, what my neighbor has to do. Only those things. Do not look beyond that. And no member of the public should try to save Kerala, save Maharashtra, save Gujarat, save Rajasthan, nothing. The people need not do all this saving a state. Only save your own family member. You save your children, beta, beti, mada, pita, and your family members. Putti, all the senior. Save your own family, number one. Then save your local best friends and your buddies and all that. Your bro people who will come and stick with you. Save them. Prevent infection going to them. Then prevent your local doodh wala, local bhaji wala, all those papsi wala. Save
Yeah.
those people. Don't go and spread around there. So say these three people in your mind, our own family, my best friends and buddies who will come to me or I will go to them, save them. Then save the local services. If all people can do these three things, then automatically Kerala will be saved, Maharashtra will be saved, Goa will be saved, Rajasthan will be saved, everybody will be saved. If we can
Yes.
do three little things.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fettle, because it was a wonderful piece of advice. But dear viewers, it was a wonderful interaction with Dr. Fettle. But one thing has emerged very, very spectacularly, that Dr. Fettle and Kerala have succeeded only because there is a long history of a robust public health system and social capital. This demarcates Kerala from the other part of India. That we have to take the lesson, because as an individual, he has already told us what we have to do. But as a society, as a strategist, as a policy, we have to think very seriously about the last 30 years deviation from public health system to private healthcare system. We have pushed private healthcare system to the extent we have, I mean, the public health system, not in Kerala, but in outside Kerala, except Tamil Nadu, is pathetic. It is decimated in last 20 to 30 years. And the way it is fighting back the COVID-19 is admirable. I mean, with the strength, it is doing wonderful job. But that cannot happen because to the great extent, because in the chronic failure of we have neglected. So it's a lesson from Kerala that we should deviate very seriously, think about the deviation from healthcare. We are putting healthcare as a commodity in the market. That is the wrong track. Where is the market? Where is the market in this COVID-19? There was no market. Whatever happened is happened because of the public health system. So we have to support public health system. We have to support the doctors. We have to know that if it falls little bit short, that is not its fault. It is the fault of our decision of last 20, 30 years. And hereafter, we will succeed out of this as he has advised us, that look for we ourselves, our families, our surrounding, and our neighborhood, and we will come out here. But we have to take the decision that as a society, as a health policy, we have to change in 180 degrees, because we cannot afford to go on the direction where healthcare will be a commodity in the market. No, it should be our right. It should be universal healthcare and public healthcare center, because that direction we must take. We must say to all our policy makers as a population at large that enough of privatization of healthcare. We want robust public health system. Thank you, Dr. Fettle, for a wonderful interaction. It was it was very inspiring for all of us who want to do something in health services, health policy matters, and as a patients also. And it must have increased our confidence to tackle with the system. Thank you very much.
That,
And we wish you all the
can I
best.
just mention one little thing, because what you're saying reminds me. I once came to Maharashtra, Mumbai, because Mumbai, the government health department invited me for the H1N1, how Kerala is dealing with H1N1, and to talk to all the Mumbai or Maharashtra officials. So that was the time when I became friends with your Dr. Pradeep Avde, who is the
He's also friend of mine. He's also friend of mine.
Has remained I think we are one of the oldest state nodal officers for public health emergency international concern. From that time also he was there. From that time, so I came there and we became friends.
So we hope that Kerala specialist team comes to Maharashtra and we get combined fight against Corona. Thank you, Dr. Fettle.